Oh, hello everyone. Yeah. Hey, what's up? Hope you guys are all doing well. Hey, I will not be before you long today. I'm excited about getting out and about and enjoying the outdoors. I wasn't going to come on today, but something came to mind. And this something, how this something came to mind is what I've come to know as the voice of God. So, what I was reminded of is that, well, first of all, I'm like, okay, we have to bring this to a close because I have to use my gifts and my talents to bring about the other things that God has given me to do. Not saying that I won't continue in some shape, form, or fashion, but God has given me to focus on something in addition to this. But the thing about it is I feel like I've shared enough whereby you guys really should get the gist of what my intentions were, which is to, share information with you guys in hopes of broadening your perspective abilities, your perception abilities to see things like never before, because we're going through this shift, this transition. Michael Beckwith said earlier that the planet has already shifted and or shifting, and it's just waiting for us. But things are happening. Things are really, really happening. But hey, Veronica. Hey, Melvina. Mama Vina. Hey, Abronia. So listen, I really want to get to this, and it's going to be really meaty. Why is that going down there? But I'm gonna like really make this thing concise. But listen, so this is gonna be so good because I'm excited about watching what's gonna be premiered on the History Channel tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time and 5 p.m. LA time, now Pacific Standard Time. So I'm excited about that. And I think this may kind of tie in together. Excuse me, like I said, I wasn't planning on coming on, but I have to move as I feel the Spirit leading. So anyway, it just came to me to sing this patriotic song because tomorrow is Memorial Day, right? So, oh, say, can you see? I know, right? People are like, why are you singing that? But anyway, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? The Star-Spangled Banner. So I'm gonna just get right into this thing. So what came to mind? Anyway, I honor all of the men and the women and the LGBTQ community that has served our country. I thank you. I appreciate you. I send you love and light that is for your greatest and highest good and all those concerned. I really do appreciate you a great deal. We appreciate you. All right. So I'm like, okay, wait, stop. What is this? What is going on here? What is going on here? Hold on. Let me clear this up. Okay, so listen. Wait, let me acknowledge a few people right quick. Hey, JJ. Hey, Liz. Hey, Veronica. Hey, Yolanda. What's going on? Hey, Joseph. Who else? Hey, Dr. Darlene. Alan Nichols. Shondo. I just feel the presence every time I say that name. Yes, I do. But anyway, so listen, let's just get right to it. So I'm like, I'm not doing nothing today. I'm gonna go and then it came to mind about Moses, and I'm like, well, God, I'm kind of sick of talking about Moses. And next week I will be done. So I'm gonna bring this thing to a conclusion on next Sunday. But then this thing came to mind where I did not talk about how and or why Moses was not allowed to go into the promised land. I'm like, what? And Spirit was like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. So here's the gist of it in my own, storytelling kind of way. So Moses, my man, had a gift, right? The gift of sheep herding. So Moses became the gift of being the shepherd over the people of God. That's why people refer to us as the sheep of God and stuff like that. So, and in doing so, Moses was entrusted to escort and assist the people from Egypt through this exodus of the wilderness for 40 years, all the way up until the promised land. So Moses gets with the people to the foot of the promised land, to the border. I mean, they're right at the gate, you know what I'm saying? They can just probably smell the good aroma of the fruit and the vegetables, you know what I'm saying? The mouths are probably watering from the grapes that are the size of a man's hand. Can you imagine? Their hands probably weren't this big back then, but can you imagine biting into a grape that's the size of a man's hand? You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of grape. But the fact of the matter is, they get to this place, and so God tells them, I took a little notes. God tells them, and you can read this for yourself in Numbers, right? So God speaks to Moses and he said, look here, Moses, I need you to go get Aaron and I need you to go to this rock and I need you to speak to the rock so the water can go forth and the people and the livestock could drink and they can handle their business. So Moses is like, all right, cool. So Moses go and he gets Aaron and they go up there and Moses is like, hey, rebels, I got something to say to y'all. In my mind, he probably saying something else. But he's like, you rebels, must we, get y'all some water again? And whatever the case may be. So Moses takes the stick, the rod, and he strikes the rock. But then he has to strike it a second time. So I'm like, okay, why did he have to strike it 2 times? God was probably like, hey, dude, I told you to speak to the rock. Oh my God, he gonna hit the rock another time. This is my man. I've given him power. So I'm gonna let the water gush out. So he struck it a second time. But if I was Moses and I hit that rock one time and it didn't come out, I probably would have been like, you did say speak, didn't you? So, but you know what? I'm already in this thing, and I know you've always been with me, and I know you give us the desires of our heart, even when they're not necessarily what you have given us. So I'm gonna go and hit this thing a second time. Pow! And so the water goes gushing out, right? That's where Moses messed up. Because here's the thing. God told Moses to speak to the rock. So I'm like, well, God, what's the big deal? Why you got to be so hardcore with things? Come on, God. So God just let me know. But listen, I told him to speak to the rock for a reason. And then it came to mind. Oh, yeah, so you giveth us power to get wealth. God gives us the power to speak the things that are not as though they were, and they become. Why? Because we speak the things using the power that God has given us of power of life and death in our tongue and the power to get wealth and all this wonderful power that all we got to do is just speak this thing. But Moses, he just took that away from God and the people, and it was indicative of the power that we have in prayer. And just asking, we have the power to ask, believing that we will receive and we will get it. And as I said, the power to speak the things that are not, that appear to not be, as though they were, because they've always been, because they are part of the riches in glory of God. You know what I'm saying? And they become. But whatever you think and feel about, it doesn't matter to God. God lets you do whatever you want to do. And here's the thing about it is, you're the one that have to suffer the consequences of your actions, of your speech. But God still gets glory out of it. It still works together for the highest and the greatest good of all concerned. Now, he was disobedient. He didn't do what God told him to do. But yet and still, water still flowed from the rock and the people were still blessed. But God wanted the people to see, after all that he's taken them through, all the places and experiences that they've had, they're now at the foot of the promised land. And God chose the leader to be the example, to show them, after all was said and done, just speak it into existence. But he took that away from the people. So what happens? God said, look here, man, you messed up, bro. You can't even go into the promised land. But look here, I'm going to let you take a look at it. I'm going to let you see all that you have been used to get the people to, but you can't go in. Isn't that cold-blooded? Cold-blooded. Cold. But you would think, but here's the thing. And I'm like, God, that's kind of rough. You could at least let the man taste a grape. You could have went and let somebody go in and bring him a grapefruit or, something, you know what I'm saying? But no, God was like, no. And so here's the deal. And so I'm like, well, what is this about, God? The gist of it, how does that relate to today's time? Then it came to mind as to what we're experiencing today. We are going through a shift. We're going through a transition. And just like Moses and all of the older generation who refused to see the hand of God upon their lives, who refused to walk by faith and not by sight, even though God has shown them that he was with them. All of those, how old were they, Dr. Darling? I think they were 40 and older. All of them were killed off. I'm drawing a blank. Help me out here. But the older generation. And it's like today, I saw a TikTok. I can't remember. I think it may have been JJ that sent me this TikTok, but it was this young European American girl. And she was talking to her mom and she said something and the daughter was like, but mom, that really hurts my heart. And and the mother was like, I don't care. Black people this, black people that. And the daughter was like, but mom, that's white supremacy. And mother's like, no, I don't give a care. No. And the girl was just so devastated. But it reminds me of Moses and the children of Israel. The older ones, they had to stay in the wilderness so much longer than they were supposed to because of they were so stuck in their ways. And so, what's coming to mind now, I'm thinking about the politicians, my goodness, and the preachers and the teachers. The Moses represented the people of the fivefold in the ministry of God. We have the apostles, we have the evangelists, we have the prophets, we have the pastors, and then we have the teachers. And these are those who are placed in the body of Christ for the edifying of God and for the building of the kingdom. But then again, you think about the people of today. You got the preachers and the teachers and the politicians who refuse to do what they know is the right thing. It's like I think about these politicians. Oh, well, there was no insurrection and there is no such thing as a systemic racism and there was nothing such as. How are you going to tell us what we did not see? So these are those who refuse to do the right thing with the power that God has given them, which is the reason why the Bible says that we ought to pray for those who have lead of charge over us. But unfortunately, and I got to agree with God, let them die. I'm serious. You holding up our progress. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be in this wilderness experience any longer than we have to. So if it's meant for them to go head on and God lets them do what they're going to do, but this is a message for you all, you all be of good courage and be encouraged and just continue to trust God in all of this. And I'm not knocking any of my friends and followers who follow Trump and whomever you follow, but the fact of the matter is they can do better. I believe the former Trump could have probably still been in office today if he would have been more inclusive. How are you going to be the leader of a free nation and make people feel like they're not a part of the nation? But yet and still, there was some good that came out of it. God still got glory out of it some way, shape, form, or fashion. But the fact of the matter is, his time was up. And they're still trying to hold on to things. Our government, how can you tell us that there was no insurrection? How can you tell black people that there is no such thing as systemic racism? What? Now, if you think about the beginning, now I understand this may trigger some of you, but listen, this isn't, I have European American friends who they're like sisters and brothers to me. But let me tell you, the truth sets you free. So tonight, there's this documentary on such an amazing event that's been swept under the rug for over 100 years, you all. So let's think about this thing. Oh, I see how we're bringing this thing full circle. So in the beginning, it was slavery. Whether we were already here or others were brought here, the fact of the matter is, the wealth of the European Americans were built on the backs of slavery, right? And then we were allowed to assist in the freedom fighting where we were liberated from England. And we helped in all other kind of wars. And then we were freed and we were promised some acreage and some livestock. We didn't get it. They reneged on that, right? And then as we were freed, then they trumped up some fake laws and stuff and imprisoned us to bring us back to a state of slavery, and then allowed the hatred of those who did not want to abolish slavery to go forth and to lynch and to kill and so forth and so on. And then it got to the point where they would not allow us into their neighborhoods. You can't even drink from our water fountains. So black people came together. Well, let's just take this little bit of land we got right here and let's just, make the most out of what we have. Yeah, you come up, pull yourself up by your own damn bootstraps, so-and-so, so-and-so. And that's what the African Americans, that's what people of color did. And they built this big, beautiful, wonderful little kingdom called Black Wall Street, Rosewood, whereby 40 blocks of beautiful big homes and businesses of all sorts and all kind, but yet and still they didn't like it. So what they did was they trumped up some lies and stuff like that. Then they came in, a big mob by the thousands, killed hundreds of black people, burned down their homes and their businesses, made mass graves, tossed them into the river, and nobody was ever charged for it. They dropped bombs from airplanes on their own people, our own citizens, and on top of that, the insurance companies reneged. Nobody got any kind of insurance money. There was no reparations. There was no one brought to justice, but yet and still, oh, beautiful, far spacious. You know what? It's deep. But yet and still the politicians refuse to acknowledge it. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say about that. Do you guys know that the state, I can't remember if it was state or county. No, but I believe it was the state. Okay, let me slow down. They passed a law saying that teachers can't even teach about this because they didn't want white kids to feel ashamed of their race. What? So what does that mean for African American kids, black kids, colored kids, Negroes? So bottom line is they have an opportunity to do what's right. Will they do it? We don't know. But all I'm trying to say is that something is happening. Something happened. And now, anyway, I'm getting kind of carried away with those old gospel songs. But listen, we have to continue to trust God. God has given us a gift individually to do, to be, to have, to go as our own heart's desire. Because I had a conversation with God the other day and I was like, God, you know what? You need to step your game up. You just need to step your game up. You just allowing all this stuff to go on, and people don't want to know the truth. I can understand the truth hurts. It really does. But the Bible says, he who increase in knowledge also increase in sorrow. But there's a reason for that. You know, how can you move forward when you don't know where you've come from? It's just like those little wind up dolls, and you wind them up. If you wind them up a little bit, you only get a little bit of audio from it. You know what I'm saying? If you wind up the little jack in the box, you only get a little bit. But the more you wind it up, the more you go back, the further forward you can go. So that's kind of how I see why I study where I've come from. So when you know, it gives you power. That's knowledge. But it's what you do with the knowledge that becomes powerful. So a lot of our politicians, including our preachers, just like Moses, they know what's right, but they yet continue to do what's wrong. But God is still going to be glorified. So be encouraged. Just continue to trust God. Continue to pray. Moses took that away from the people, but God is giving it back to you right now. Use your power to speak things into existence. Think and feel about whatever that thing is you desire to bring about, then speak it by saying, I am whatever it is. Say, I am that, then add the whatever it is. I am that. I'm healed. I am that. I'm safe. I am that. I am blessed, and so forth and so on. I had a conversation, I'm done, with a lady not long ago, a few weeks ago. We were having a nice little conversation, and then the family started talking about somebody who was really going through a hard time. And I was like, what? And they repeated and said a little bit of extra. And I was like, Jesus Christ, don't use the Lord's name in vain. She scared me. I'm like, oh my God, you scared me. But I looked at her like, what do you mean? Don't use the Lord's name in vain. And I was like, the man is going through hell. I'm calling on the name of Jesus. No, don't use the Lord's name in vain. I was like, I think we have some issues here. But I'm not here to convince her or to tell her of what it is that I know, because she wasn't in a state of receiving it. Sometimes you got to leave people to their own ignorance, because it gets to a point where that nobody can do it but God. So you got to let go and just let some people may even take their issues to the grave with them. Hey, BJ White. Now that's what I'm talking about. I'm going through the wilderness experience and ready for my wealthy place. Shondo, you better say that thing, man. So I just left it alone. But no, that's not what it means to use the Lord's name in vain. You've heard me say it before. It's that I amness. When we say things like, man, I got a friend. I call him up. Hey, man, what's going on? I'm just a poor man trying to make it. What? Don't even repeat it. What do you mean? That's what it means. You're not a poor man trying to make it. That's the slave mentality. That's the slave thinking and preaching and teaching that the people in the pulpit are continuing to do to get you to stay in this place where you've always been. But God is like, no more. That's it. My friend Mark Felton's dad always used to say something, and when it's done, he just go, zit. And the politicians, it's time to let go and let God. It's time to trust in God. Not have so much trust in man. I yet believe in man. I believe in this family, this universe, but I yet trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Yeah. Through it all. Woo! Y'all don't know nothing about that. I'm trying to tell you. See, you ain't ready. God can't even use you. You ain't ready. That was a joke. It was a joke. God can. But anyway, I just want us to understand who we are. When we understand, in a nutshell, just like I am Willie James. I didn't shave my head, but look here. Oh, I got the lines from this. I got the look. Y'all know I don't care. I look just like Willie James Campbell. Undeniable. I know I do. I sing like Angie Campbell. I have the mannerisms of my mom. Oh, I ain't scared. No, I know I'm in touch with my feminine side. It is what it is. It's just who I am. I wouldn't be as I am today if I weren't in touch with Ann Campbell as much as I was in touch with Willie James Campbell. It's undeniable. So if they be my parental units, and I have their DNA, and I can do, be, have, go as they have, and some, just like my baby girl Soraya and my stepdaughter Kristen, who I've poured into. They too will be able to take the knowledge that I've received and the getting of understanding, and they will be able to go on and do greater, do better, to so forth and so on. But why do we deny the fact that we were created in the image and the likeness of God, the creator of all things, all people, all places, of all time? God, who in the beginning, time, created the heavens, space, and the earth, matter. Why do we take away from the fact that God said that he created us in its image and likeness? And what is God? Omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. God knows everything. God is everywhere. God is all powerful. So if God be that, and God did what? Create, and we are created in his image and his likeness, therefore we were created to create. But the powers that be, they don't want you to know it, because they want to keep you where you've always been, which is serving and padding their pockets and serving their empires. But God is like, enough is enough. Let them keep teaching and preaching the way that they do. Let them enjoy the wealth of the world. But hey, if ye be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. Ooh, I know I'm saying something right now. I need a witness. You know what? I got to get me a witness. Y'all hold on. I got a witness. Let me stop for you all realize how crazy I really am. Sometimes you got to be your own witness. You know, Elder Eugene Nichols used to say, come on, somebody. Say that all the time in his sermons. He said it about 15 times in one sermon. But it's the truth. You got to be your own somebody. So I love and appreciate you. Fact of the matter is, God has given us the power to manifest. That's what all that is about. And when you get understanding, you understand that God is where God has always been and always will be, which is right inside of you, doing, being, having as you desire. So in my conversation earlier with God, like, God, you need to step your game up. You letting all these people do all this and this and that. You've been having folks roughshod all over black people. When you going to step your game up? People been praying and dying on their knees, getting shot and killed on their knees. Where are you? God is like, where I've always been, right within them. You have the power to manifest. What are you going to manifest? You're going to manifest staying in that state of slave mentality? God wants you to know that you are his offspring. You are a demigod. So speak just like God said, let there be light. It was lit. What is it that you desire to speak and be, do, have, go? Go on and do that. That is the gift that God has given you. So don't overthink it. Don't underthink it and miss out on your swing. I don't want you to die in ignorance. I want you to die prosperous, wealthy. And whatever that means to you, whatever that definition is, let that be for you. Because I'm blessed. And during this pandemic, God has met my need. And I'd be a fool to not trust God, even as it relates to this vaccination thing. Vehemently against it. Absolutely not. Tuskegee experiment, Wall Street, Black Wall Street, and all of the things that I know of history. But I'm like, you know what? I'm sitting up here teaching and preaching, so to speak, on the Exodus and how God took them from where they were to where they were supposed to be, the promised land, and how God was there with them through every step of the way. And have not God been there for me? Have I not missed? I've not missed a meal. No. I'm grateful that same government has provided me with means to eat, with health insurance, you know, with unemployment as an entertainer, as an artist. God has provided me with rental assistance when nobody else would come through. God has done it, and God put friends of my parents, you know, put me on their heart, but they come bless me with a little piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? And people like John White, hey, I want to treat you and your daughter to get something to eat. God has yet provided. And then PPP loans, where the loans are given and even forgiven. Why am I going to sit there and trust? So you know what? Vaccination, shoot me up, God. I trust. This arm was swollen. I tell you, this one arm looked like Michelin Man. This thing was so swollen. The swelling is just coming down. Well, hopefully I'm going to get some more form back in it. But I trust God. Either I'm going to trust him or I'm not. And I trust him. So I got the vaccination. Oh, I was out for about a good day because this thing was so, but that swelling is going down and I got some good sleep. And I just trust God. So anyway, I just get so carried away. So I'm going to let you guys go. But listen, before I let you go, let me stop. I just feel like, this is my daughter. She's got class. So listen, the History Channel. I was going to bring it up. But check out my post. You'll see it. Check out the story. You'll see that. And go there and check it out, you guys. Give me 3 minutes, baby girl. Excuse me. So she got to come back now and do her homework. So I'm just going to acknowledge some of these little comments here. I love you guys. So check it out. The History Channel tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock Chicago time, Midwest, and that's 5 o'clock LA time. So check that out, okay? Oh, she said take your time. That the baby girl. I love my baby girl. Hey, you all, Sissy's daughter, Noelle, she's graduating today. Go, Noelle. All right, guys, so let me just acknowledge some of the comments here. Hey, Melvina, love you. Hey, Yolanda Hooper. Yes, manifestation power. Yes. BJ White, some craziness derails chaos. Yes. See that BJ White there? He got some wisdom on him. I'm so grateful that he's my... You say, Melvina, you say teddy bear praise break. I know, right? I know. Love you, Dar. I know, JJ. I know I'm a nut, but I'm a nut for truth. Hey, did you feel that, bunny? I'm trying to tell you, the bunny felt that thing. Come on, Jesse. Hey, Janice. You're a combination, yes, of mom and dad. Teach, teacher, train that speech for supernatural success. Shondo, BJ White, you better know it. Hey, Mari, what's going on? I appreciate you. Joseph Terry, man, I really do appreciate you. Hey, Angie Booth, what's up? Hey, Scott, calling me. Wait, I meant to put the things up there. You sing whatever you feel there too. Remember, there's no you sing, say what you anointed to give God. Thank you so much, my buddy. I appreciate that. Oh, Yolanda Hooper feeling a little bit of something. Thank you, cousin. Yes, I appreciate it. Yes, Shondo. Eclipsed. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Joseph Terry. All right, guys, I appreciate you. I love you much. And I look forward to seeing you guys next Sunday. We're going to close this thing out. We're going to close it out. So I just want to leave you with the last thing. Just let go. Let God have his way. Do what you know to do, you guys. Do what you know to do, because I don't want you to miss out on this promised land. Man, I tell you, it just feels good to be in the flow with God, as God. Did he say as God? Oh, they wrote a movie about that. Asgard is not a place, it's a people. What? Do you mean to tell me they're giving us subliminals? It's like Inception? Really? God is trying to speak through? Huh? Yeah. You got to be open to how you receive it. All right, guys. If we never pass this way again, just remember this time and how good it's been. And let's not forget God who made it possible. Just remember she's so wonderful. God bless you. 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 Yeah. Bye. Love ya. All right, baby girl, I'm done.